Gang, welcome to another video. Today, we're going to talk about the 5K trap. And what I mean by the 5K trap is you may be an online coach right now. Maybe you just hit your first 5K month, or you're about to, or you're stuck at that 5K mark. And essentially, it feels a little bit like purgatory because it's not quite enough to really scale. Um, but obviously it's a good amount of money to be earning. So you're in that really like that sticky point where you kind of like you don't know what the next step is, or you know what the next step is, but you just don't know how to get to those 10, 15, 20K a month marks. So that's essentially what we're going to go over today. Obviously we've got Joe, we've got Jack, the three J's from TCT. And we'll dive right into it. So Senor Jack,
Mm,
5K purgatory.
mm.
We see it a lot.
Yeah, it's probably one of the hardest phases of business, in my opinion. Um, like you said, like you kind of lack cash flow to really start to scale, but you obviously have cash coming in, right? This is the exact point where most online fitness coaches think they've made it, and they get to 5 grand a month, and all of a sudden they bought a Rolex and a Range Rover, and they start to like push up living expenses because
They think
that's
they're
just what
G.
online coaches do. But we're here to tell you, please don't do that.
Hannibal Lecter.
Um, hmm?
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, don't do that. That's the stupidest thing you can do. Okay. Um, the number one thing that I would suggest when you hit 5 grand a month is look at areas where you suck with time. So we do something called the AED, which is not the Illuminati. It's where can you automate, where could you eliminate, or where could you delegate. At 5 grand a month, the first thing that I would look at is what could you actually eliminate in your day-to-day processes, um, because you'll be doing some stuff at 5K a month that you just don't need to be doing. So you can start to kill that down. And realistically, when you're looking at delegation, you can't necessarily hire team members in your team, but you can definitely hire subcontractors, right?
Hmm.
So I guess subcontractors, who would you look for at 5 grand?
5 grand a month. I think the first thing you'd look at is like essentially what do you hate doing with inside your business that essentially you could outsource to somebody. That could be as simple as certain like admin tasks. It could be things like, updating sheets. Obviously not client programming or anything like that, but it could be like, checking that payments have gone through. It could be things like updating people's sheets so that there's enough weeks for trackers, all that type of stuff, or even like just like general like admin tasks. A lot of those can be done with like VAs and stuff like that. Um, I also think that like you've just kind of got to look at your business, and if it, like we all probably get it, where it's like you look at the tasks you've got for the week or the day or whatever, and you go, oh, I really don't want to have to do that. And if that's something where you look and go that you're putting not as much effort into it, it's not really that, it's time demanding, but you're not putting the effort in. That's when you go, right, okay, who can I outsource this to, and how much is that going to cost me, and all that type of stuff. Because it kind of comes back to like what we talk about with a previous video we did, where it's like, if you can get your time back, you can put your time into the areas of the business you do enjoy, or even service delivery, the sales aspect of stuff where it's more of a driver of the business. So yeah, the first kind of thought process I would have is go like, what are the tasks I have each week? What are like low on the sort of like enjoyment level, and then see if you can sort of delegate or outsource them. That's the first sort of step that I would look to take.
Yeah, I think one thing that surprises a lot of people is going from 10 to 20K a month is a lot easier than going from 1 to 5 or 5 to 10. And that's because you have the scope to put these systems in place. So when you get to that 5 and you feel trapped, it really is like Joe was saying, is looking at where do I need to offload some of the work that I'm doing, and how can I do that in a systemized, cheap way, like using VAs and subcontractors and stuff, where that allows you to push your time into things that you are really good at, that drives the business. If you are someone that is a great coach and really enjoys creating the most amazing transformations, find someone else to manage your emails, to manage inquiries, to do other things like Joe was saying about admin tasks. Like, you don't need to be death by admin. You can pay someone 10, £15 an hour for a couple of hours a week to just free that from you. Conversely, if you want to step away from programming and you would like to dive into the sales and the marketing side of things, hire a success coach, get them to come on board and help you to take that off. look at your coaching business as a business and think, what am I very good at, and what do I do that sets me apart and drives the business forward, and what do I not enjoy doing, like, and then find people that can then fill that gap, because you will probably have people in your life that can do it for you. There is probably someone in your life that's recently had a kid that hasn't returned to work yet, that can maybe pick up 5-10 hours a week. I've done that with my clients before. I'm like, guys, I need 5 hours a week of admin help for £10 an hour. Who's game? And you get people that will reach out and say, I help, and they know the business, they know you, they trust you. You're not having to hire someone that you don't know. It's just freeing up time to allow you to do more of what you're good at, and then you can leapfrog from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 a lot quicker with that support. But you will be stuck at 5 if you're just trying to run everything, and then you'll probably crash and burn, and then that'll drop off and service delivery drops, and you'll fall out of love with the business you spent a lot of time building.
Yeah, I think 4 to 5 grand a month is when, like, that's when you have a business, right? I think anything below that is kind of like, you obviously have a business, but it's more so like, it's not a hobby, but like like 4 to 5 grand a month is when you're like this is legitimate, like this is a thing here. And one of the biggest skill sets that we try and drill in very quickly when you get to that mark is like, right, okay, like how can you create a business? Because when you look at every single business in the whole entire world, like, they have a marketing division, a sales division, a HR, like, admins, like secretary, receptionist, like, they have all of that. Now, doesn't mean that you have to have that, but like, you have to learn from thousands of other businesses. Like, that's kind of how they operate. So if you're trying to, as a one man band, if you are trying to do everything in the business, like, it's just not gonna happen. And also at 5 grand a month, obviously you have a lot of clients to service. So if you're like doing the customer support, you're doing the content, you're doing the editing, the captions, like everything, what tends to happen is it's crap.
Mm.
Like, because if you're trying to do
Spread
every
thin.
yeah, if you're trying to do everything at once, like, it is going to be piss poor, which is why, like, there is a 5 grand a month, like, block, because you're trying to do everything, but it's notoriously not that great. But if you are a coach and you love coaching, there's probably someone who's better at the video side than you, obviously. Which is what you are.
Well, my job, yeah.
It's your
But
job.
like we speak about this is like, so the within, so for example, as in within TCT is like, I know that Jack's mind will work better when he is focused on the one thing he needs to focus on. We protect his energy, we protect his capacity to be able to do that, and that improves the service as a whole. Whereas if he sat there worrying about, I need to write the captions for this, I need to look at the emails, I need to do this, I need to help with this aspect of the business, it's like, that's why he has a team there to say, no, don't worry about that. We've got that. And then that projects the business forward. And it would be the same within your business. Like, it, it's not, I don't think it's stupid to think of as a business of like almost creating your own organization chart, like your own org chart, and be like, right, I'm at the top, but I don't need to be involved in every aspect of it. You will at some point go, right, I'm the top, I'm the head coach, I'm the business owner. Okay, I can have somebody come in and do stuff like take sales calls. I could have somebody who is going to run my content side of stuff and help me with recording, and they can edit it to free up my time to be able to make myself more available for clients, or to help with like client success and that type of stuff. And it just has that trickle down effect that eventually is like, the people who are in service get a much better experience in service because you've able to free up the space and delegate and ultimately do the one thing that you got into it for, which is probably coaching. Like, you may find like, yeah, you get into it and you're like, I really enjoy making content and stuff. That's cool. Keep that. But then delegate the stuff that you don't want to do. Like, there will always be something. Like, I don't think most people sit there and go, I can't wait to do out all my admin tasks today. Like, I can think of maybe,
Speak for yourself.
yeah, maybe there's 2 or 3 people I can think of that really enjoy that. But like, yeah, there's,
Like a VA.
yeah, like a VA, yeah. Or like, maybe like, for example, myself is like, I'm not great with copy side of stuff. So it's like, if it was my business and I was having to write stuff, I would hire somebody to do that for me, and then I can make it look great. Like, that's like how I would
Yeah,
run that.
I think that comes with like time. Like, when you when you hire your first person, it's like, what? And
Mm.
it's like that you kind of got a few things that you've got going in your mind is like, are they going to do it as well as me?
Mm.
So you have that like, is this the
Yeah.
right move, right? Because you want, like, as a business owner, you want everything to be done your way,
Your way,
right?
yeah.
So like letting go is really hard.
Yeah,
We can
relinquishing
obviously talk
responsibility
about
is
that.
tough, yeah.
Yeah, and then also like managing a team versus just managing yourself is really hard.
Mm.
Like obviously you've got like the output side of it, but like actually like talking to someone like they don't know anything and like going through that like training phase is really hard. I don't remember if you remember your first hire, but like that transition is like super tough.
It's really hard.
Um, so like that like 5 grand a month marker, like it is really tough to bring someone in, but you have to look at this like a catapult, right? So a catapult like brings something back, but then like when you snap back, it's enabling you to go forward. It's the same thing there. Like
Mm.
you might hire someone and it might be like crap at the start, but like it's going to propel you in such a way to 10, 15, 20 grand. And also, once you've made that first hire, it's next to impossible to not look at other avenues in your business
Mm.
because everything's moving at speed. Um, but I will say, like, hiring is
Mm.
It's
tough.
yeah, the number one problem in every business, no matter the niche, the sector, whatever, is people. And I think that none of this is all great what we're talking about, but it will not happen unless you have self-awareness and you can drop the ego.
Mhm.
And I think that, like Jack was saying, it's hard, and you have to go in as even joining TCT as a team member. I've known Jack for 18 years. We've known each other a very long time. We've done a lot of work together, but like joining the team, I don't. It's like, "Mate, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know how you want me to do this." And we've had to go in because I have my way of doing it, but then I know that he has his way of how he wants it done. And we've had to really work on like, what is it you want me to do? Cool. This is how I've done it. Is that okay? And even with years, decades behind us, sort of combined experience of running businesses, it's you have to sit there and go, right, how does this look? How do you want it to do? And just start to think about everything that you're doing, how that process looks. But none of that will happen if you aren't able to be self aware enough to sit there and go, what do I suck at? And where can I hire? And drop the ego and go, there are things that I'm not going to be good at. And it doesn't have to be as good as you. It just has to be 80% as good as you. Because if someone was 80% as good as you as doing the admin side of the emails, and that saves you 10 hours a week, you can then go be really good at the things that you're good at, like coaching.
Yeah. I like just to kind of attach on to that is it's like if you were spread thin, is you're not going to be 100% in everything, are you?
Exactly.
So if you have someone 80%, that's still better than a
Probably gonna
40%
be better
version
than
of
what you're
you. So
given. Yeah.
it actually works out better to have somebody in doing 80% than have a really tired, fatigued, frustrated, unmotivated version of you at 40% doing that task. So I think that's where it comes in pretty handy.
Again, like this comes back to like the whole Range Rover comment because like
Yeah.
at that 5 grand a month, like you don't think you've made it, but it's like you get to the point where like obviously like more cash is coming in. But the thing that I will try and say here is just like, well, don't use that money to like bump up living expenses. Like use it to go and build, not necessarily a team, but like what can you actually outsource now? A lot. I'm in the mentoring space, so a lot of mentors will be like, you can do this all yourself. Don't hire a team.
Mm.
And the one thing I'll say about that comment is the people who make that comment are absolutely terrible at building teams.
Mhm.
The people who say do not build a team suck at building a team, because they have a massive ego. They've tried it once and they've just dropped it. But like you might have like I've made hires before and it was terrible.
Mm.
Like that's just is what it is. It's always a learning curve, you know. Um, but like, don't like when you see comments like you can do everything yourself. You can, and that's fine. And like, I hit 10 grand a month, and I was really doing everything myself, but I was dying. It was suicide. Like, you can do it 100%. But the thing that 5 grand a month is like, don't look at like hyperinflating your living expenses. Like, look at like, how can I like catapult this business to 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month, because like even though you're making 5 grand a month, you can feel broke because
Mm.
you've hyperinflated
Mhm.
all of your living
Yeah,
expenses.
yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah.
even higher than 5K, you can make as much money as you want a month. But if it's all going out the door, it's not going to help. And I think Joe mentioned about an org chart. That's something that I did for my business very early on. Was wrote down an organization chart and what does that look like and how am I going to run that. And I've probably hired, I think it's about 15 people now in my business, and I've had a few businesses and stuff. And it is hard. And I've had to look. The biggest issue with my hires hasn't been them; it's been me. I've been the biggest issue because I haven't known how to communicate things. I haven't given them the right steps. I haven't shown them things. And it really is a learning curve. And you really go back to school with yourself and think, right, okay, I'd never been a manager or anything like that, but you might have managerial experience, but you really have to be willing to be wrong and willing to take that feedback and say to your team, like, how is this going to be best for you? Because the best way that, if you look at the top companies like Apple and Coca-Cola, they will find the best person for that role and they just enable them to do that role. They don't micromanage, they don't track everything. They sit there and go, you're very, very, very good at this one thing. Can you just go and do that for us? And that's how these companies just grow and exceed every other company on the planet, because they have very good people doing their jobs. That might seem a world away from where you're at, but don't bring in someone or try and control everything just because you want to not let them learn or not let them grow. Like, let them thrive. Bring in someone that's very good at what they do and create an enabled environment that allows them to take action every single day and implement the things that you need them to implement at speed, but with enough precision that propels your business forward like a catapult, like Jack was referencing.
Yeah, and like our systems at TCT, we basically can take literally anyone from like ground zero all the way up to like 15, 20 grand months, right? Um, but the really good thing is that the our system kind of adapts. So like again, once you hit like 5 grand a month, we have like a bell system where it's just like, right, okay, you've hit this is the next thing. Because if you start to do, or if you continue to do the things that you did at 0 to 5, it's just not.
No.
It's just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
going to work. You're going to be hitting your head against a brick wall over and over again, and that might be nice once or twice, smashing your head against a brick wall, but after the 15th time, it hurts.
Mm.
So like our system and our lead gen system, our client retention system, like everything adapts once you hit 5 grand. It's just like everything starts to like adapt, and we're like, okay, cool, you've hit this, right? Go and toggle track your whole entire week. Like, what's the area that you suck at? Go and fill that gap, and then we keep telling you to go and do that. So that's a really good thing with TCT is like we can. One of the questions is, you only help fitness coaches who are starting out? Hell no. We help people. I can name Johnny Crawford, for example. Johnny came to us at like 3 grand a month. He's now hitting 20,
Mm.
and that's how like quick everything can go. And the main reason for that catapult in such a quick time frame, and that's like 10 weeks working with us. The main reason for that catapult is we're being like, okay, like you're stuck here because of XYZ. Go and fill that, and then all of a sudden he's just
Took off.
taken off. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, if you wanna,
Yeah.
if you want that for your business,
Yeah. If you want to be like Johnny.
if you want to be like Johnny,
I feel like you just said everything so
Yeah.
well. It's just like, yeah.
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 If you want to be like Johnny, if you want to go from 3 grand a month, 4 grand a month, all the way up to the heights of 20, 25 grand a month, then tap the link in the bio. There is a web page, fill in our application form, book in a call, and you can have a chat with a member of our team. We'll see if you're a good fit, see if you like us, and then if you do, then you can come work with the gang.